Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. Today, we are going to be looking into some AI art.
Ooh, very cool.
Yeah, this is something that I feel like we hear about all the time.
Yes.
But I don't know. I feel like a lot of times I don't really know what people are talking about.
Mhm.
And so we're going to deep dive into this article about Christie's augmented intelligence auction.
Okay.
And it sounds very fancy.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what it's all about.
Yeah.
So this auction happened earlier this month, and it really caused a lot of controversy.
It did. It did. Yeah. There
Yeah.
was a petition going around with over 6,500 artists that signed it trying to get it canceled.
Wow.
So,
6,500.
yeah, they were concerned about the AI models being trained on, existing artwork without permission,
Right.
which, I guess you could consider a form of art theft.
Yeah.
And they're saying that this is devaluing human creativity.
So it's interesting because I can see both sides of this. Like, on the one hand, it's like, okay, well, yeah, if you're taking someone's artwork and then training an AI to kind of like mimic that style,
Right.
then it's like, yeah, I can see how that's a problem.
Yeah,
But then on the other hand, it's like, well, isn't all art kind of derivative in some way?
of course. Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
It's tough. It's really tough. And I think you're right. It is very interesting because, the question is AI really just a tool? Or is it actually creating the art itself?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big question. So
Mhm.
even despite all this backlash, the auction still went ahead as planned.
It did.
And it actually did really, really well.
Yeah. Made a lot of money.
Yeah, they ended up bringing in over $728,000,
Wow.
which is even more than they expected.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So it seems like people are really interested in this kind of art.
Well, yeah, and I think part of that is also, the name Christie's carries a lot of weight. This wasn't like some small, hole in the wall option.
Yeah.
This was Christie's a major player. They're a big deal in the art world.
Yeah, and this auction took place online and at their gallery in Rockefeller Center in New York.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like this was some small thing.
No, it was a big to-do.
Yeah, and they displayed 34 pieces, some dating back to the 1960s.
Yeah,
Wow.
which is interesting,
Yeah.
to see that kind of range.
And they ended up selling 28 of them.
That's pretty good.
So it seems like people were buying.
Yeah, they were buying.
I'm curious, what was Christie's response to all this backlash?
Well, they emphasized that the artists participating were well established and they were using AI as a tool to enhance their work,
Right.
not to replace their own creativity.
So their argument is that it's more like a collaboration.
Exactly. Yeah, like a digital paintbrush or something.
Yeah, like almost like AI is like a new medium.
Right, right.
And I guess that kind of raises the question of, does it really change the definition of what it means to be an artist if you're using AI as a tool?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it still the human who's the artist? Even
I
if you're
don't know.
using AI to help them create?
I don't know.
It's a really interesting question, and there's no easy answer.
No, there isn't. And honestly, I think that question is going to become more and more relevant as AI becomes more sophisticated.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is just the beginning.
Yeah, it's like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's talk about the artwork itself, because this auction featured pieces spanning several decades and mediums.
Yeah. There's a really interesting mix.
So what were some of the highlights?
Well, one of the most talked about pieces was ISS Dreams by Refik Anadol,
Okay.
who you might remember from his recent exhibition in Korea.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing something about that.
Yeah. So he's kind of a big deal right now. And this piece was a 16-minute video.
Huh.
It's a video that uses AI to combine satellite imagery of Earth with over 1 million photos from the International Space Station.
Wow.
It's pretty incredible.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, and it ended up selling for $277,200.
Wow, that's a lot of money for a video.
It is, but I mean, it's a pretty unique piece.
Yeah, for sure.
So it makes sense.
Were there any other pieces that kind of stood out?
Yeah, there was this really cool AI-generated comic featuring the musician Holly Herndon in a spacesuit.
Wow.
Yeah, it was created by Matt Dryhurst,
Okay.
and it sold for $94,500.
A comic book made by AI.
I know, right?
That's crazy.
It's wild.
So were there any pieces in this auction that used AI in a less obvious way?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, there was this piece called Beast Blind Men by Charles Krishri,
Okay.
and he's considered like a pioneer in digital computer art.
Okay.
This piece actually dates back to 1966.
Wow.
And it uses this mathematical function called a B-spline to create this image of a bearded man.
A B-spline.
A B-spline. Yeah, it sounds complicated, but it's basically just a way of creating smooth curves and lines in computer graphics.
Okay.
So he was using this back in the 60s to make art.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to think about how long people have been exploring this intersection of math and technology and art.
Yeah, it's not just a new thing.
No, it's been evolving for decades.
So it's interesting to see how it's kind of come full circle.
Right, right.
Okay, so this auction wasn't just about the artwork itself, right?
I know.
It also tells us a lot about who's buying this AI art.
Absolutely.
And it turns out the demographics are pretty interesting.
Yeah, Christie's reported that 37% of the bidders were new to their auctions.
Oh, wow.
And this is crazy. 48% were from Generation Z.
Oh, wow. So almost half?
Yeah.
So it seems like younger art buyers are much more open to this new form of art.
They are, yeah. It's really fascinating to see that shift.
And I wonder if that's just because they're more comfortable with technology.
Yeah, I think that definitely plays a role. But I also think there's a sense of excitement about the possibilities of AI art.
Yeah, it's like a whole new frontier.
Exactly.
And it makes you wonder, is this just a trend? Or are we seeing a fundamental change in how art is created and consumed and valued?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is, and it's a question that we're going to keep exploring as we deep dive further into this world of AI art.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes.
Me too. So how does this whole AI art phenomenon compare to the NFT craze that we saw a few years ago?
Well, that's a good question.
Are they similar, or are we looking at something totally different?
I mean, there are definitely some parallels. Like, they both kind of disrupted the traditional art market and challenged the concept of ownership.
Right.
But there are also some key differences.
Okay.
Like, there was this report by Hiscox, an insurance company,
Okay.
and they found that AI art is often seen as more sophisticated and inherently valuable compared to NFTs.
Interesting. Why would that be?
Well, I think it's because AI art has the potential to create truly unique and complex artwork.
Okay.
It's not just about the technology, it's about the art itself.
So it sounds like AI art is really pushing the boundaries of what we consider to be art in the first place.
Absolutely. And that's what makes it so exciting.
Okay, so I think we've covered a lot of ground here in terms of the auction itself, the artists involved, the technology behind it, and even the buyers.
We have.
But we've only scratched the surface of the larger implications of AI's role in the art world.
Right.
So let's move on to the bigger picture. So we were just talking about how AI art is really pushing those boundaries of what we think of as art. And I think it's important to unpack this a little bit more. Does this mean we need to redefine what it actually means to be an artist?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge question, and it's one that a lot of people are talking about right now. You know, like, who is the artist in this situation? Is it the person who makes the algorithm? Or the one who chooses the data that the AI is trained on? Or is it the AI itself? It's really tricky.
Yeah, I mean, it really throws a wrench in our whole understanding of, like, authorship and, who's the creator.
Yeah, for sure. And then what about ownership? You know, if I pay someone to create a piece of AI art who owns the copyright, is it me or the programmer or someone else entirely?
Right. And I bet the law is having a hard time catching up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's uncharted territory in a lot of ways, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how these questions play out as AI art becomes more common.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, it sounds like this is really shaking things up in the art world. So what's the reaction been from, like, established galleries and museums? Are they embracing this new form of art, or are they kind of hesitant?
Well, it's kind of a mixed bag, to be honest. Some institutions are starting to experiment with it. You know, maybe including it in exhibitions or even buying some pieces for their permanent collections.
Okay.
But others are being a bit more cautious, waiting to see how it all shakes out.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it is a pretty big change.
It is. For so long, the art world has placed such a high value on, like, human skill and expression.
Right.
And now technology is challenging those ideas. It's making everyone rethink what art is and who an artist can be.
It is. I mean, and it's not slowing down either.
No, it's not. AI is just going to keep getting more advanced. So it's pretty wild to think about what the art world might look like in a few years.
I know. Just imagine, like, what if AI could create photorealistic paintings or compose music that makes you cry or even choreograph dances that are just mind-blowing?
Right. I mean, we could be on the verge of a total creative revolution.
That's both exciting and a little bit scary.
Totally. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but then you have to wonder what happens to human artists in all of this.
Right. Do they just become obsolete?
I mean, I don't think so, but it definitely raises some questions.
It does. But honestly, I think that uncertainty is part of what makes this whole thing so fascinating. It's forcing us to look at art in a new way and to question our assumptions.
I totally agree. It's really pushing the boundaries of creativity.
Yeah, it is. So up until now, we've been talking about the artists and the art world itself.
Right.
But what about the everyday person? How are they reacting to all of this?
I think that's a really important question.
Mm.
Honestly, I think for a lot of people, AI art is still a bit of a mystery.
Yeah, I get
Like
that.
they've probably seen those cool AI-generated images online,
Right.
but they might not really understand what it all means.
Yeah, it's easy to just see the wow factor and not think about the bigger picture.
Right. But as AI becomes a bigger part of our lives, I think everyone is going to have to grapple with these questions about creativity and art in a new way.
Yeah, for sure. Imagine like you're scrolling through Instagram and you can't tell if the photo was taken by a person or made by an algorithm.
Whoa. Yeah, that's crazy.
Right, and suddenly we're all art critics trying to figure out where the creativity is coming from.
Exactly. And that's when things get really interesting because it forces us to think about what it means to create and appreciate and experience art in this digital age.
I mean, honestly, this whole deep dive is leaving me with more questions than answers.
Okay.
It really feels like we're at this turning point where art and technology are coming together in a way that's changing everything.
We are. And that's what's so cool about it.
Right. We're not here to tell people what to think.
No.
We just want to spark some curiosity and get people thinking critically about these issues.
Exactly. It's about giving people the tools they need to form their own opinions about AI's place in art and in their own lives.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This is a conversation that's just getting started.
Absolutely. So what's the main takeaway you want our listeners to remember from all of this?
That's a good question. Yeah, that is a good question. Well, I think we can all agree that we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
We've talked about the Christie's auction and the artists who are trying to stop it and the technology that powers AI art and all the different ways it could change the future of art.
Right. And we talked about who's buying it.
Yeah, so much to think about.
Yeah, it's a lot. But I think if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's that AI art is here to stay.
Yeah, it really seems like it.
I mean, it's not just some new technology. It's changing our culture.
Right, it's like a whole new way of thinking about art.
Exactly. And I think that's why it's attracting so many new art lovers and collectors.
Yeah, especially younger people.
Right. They're really excited about the possibilities.
For sure. So I guess for our listeners out there who maybe aren't artists themselves or collectors or anything, but they're just interested in learning more about this whole AI art world, what does all of this mean for them?
That's a great question. I think the biggest thing is just to be open-minded, you know?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to challenge your own ideas about what art is.
Right.
And be willing to have those tough conversations about how technology and art are changing our culture.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, art is a reflection of who we are as humans.
It is, and I think AI is forcing us to ask some really important questions about what it means to be human in this digital age.
Yeah, that's deep. I feel like we're really on the verge of something huge here.
We are, and that brings us to one final question for our listeners to think about.
Okay, hit us with it.
So, given how quickly AI is evolving, how do you think we'll define art and artists in the future?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, will AI be a tool for artists to use, or will it become their competition?
Right, and how do we deal with all the ethical stuff that comes with AI art while still encouraging people to be creative and explore new things? Wow, those are some big questions.
They are, and there are no easy answers.
Nope. But that's what makes this so interesting, right?
Exactly.
We're all part of this journey, and we all have a role to play in shaping the future of art.
I like that.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI art. It's been a wild ride.
It has. I've really enjoyed it.
Me too, and who knows what the future holds, but one thing's for sure, it's going to be fascinating.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep those creative sparks flying.
And your mind's open.
See you later.